Good afternoon, everyone. I am Terry Cox, Executive Director of TechWorks Gaston, located in Belmont, North Carolina. TechWorks houses themselves in this 14,000 square foot renovated mill building that opened in April 2019, just crossed our 1 year mark, yahoo. We offer co-working, various event space rental, and a technology academy for K through 12 STEM and adult learning. We're also a Pearson VUE and Certiport certification testing center, which is currently closed due to the situation. What we would like to do through TechWorks is present local small and medium-sized businesses that have adopted and embraced technology to address the remote workforce situation and social distancing and help them to pivot their companies and survive. And we are very fortunate to feature our first guest presenter today, Mona Fore with Mona's Boutique and Gifts, located in McAdenville, North Carolina. And her daughter, Hannah, is with us as well. And I think the topic of this is, moving a retail business to an e-commerce platform and continuing to sell online. So we will share that process and that story with you. And I'm going to turn it over to Mona to first give a background on her journey to get to where she is today.
Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for having us on. My background, I started out when I was in high school working retail. Tom McCann at Eastridge Mall was my first real retail job, which no longer exists. That's not saying how old I am. After that, I worked a couple other retail jobs, and then I became the store manager of Carlton Cards, also at Eastridge Mall. After my daughter was born, I decided to get out of retail and ventured to a few other careers. That's the running joke in my family, is what career have I not held? But my husband and I moved to Roanoke, Virginia about 5 years ago. And in doing so, I really felt the calling to go back into retail. There was a store that was being sold because the family was having to move, and I inquired about buying it. I got all the way to having approval for the loan and made every step except for signing the paperwork. And I just felt, after my husband and I took time and prayed about it, it was not the right time. So Jennifer, who I was buying the business from, of course was disappointed, but we found out right after that that we were moving back to North Carolina, and she was a great mentor to help me in setting up Mona's Boutique and Gifts in McAdenville. I couldn't find the location. I knew I wanted it to be something that was authentic and really embodied our family. And I kept looking in Belmont, and I couldn't find the right place. So I was told from a friend of mine that this location was available, and I was like, my husband grew up in McAdenville. No way, there's no retail in McAdenville. I had no idea. And so I pulled up, and after about a month of prayer, my prayer was answered, because the place that we now have Mona's Boutique and Gifts is actually the place in 1994 my husband and I signed paperwork when it was a real estate firm for our very first house. So it was kind of full circle, and I knew that it was meant to be. So that's how we kind of began. So
very good, very good. I had the good fortune of visiting her store today, and it's a very cute, quaint store. I encourage everyone to visit it online and when it opens in person. So you opened in September 2017, and maybe just kind of start us from that point. I know when I spoke to you, you actually, when you opened up the regular retail walk-in store, that you also launched Facebook and Instagram, if I remember that correctly. So maybe just kind of describe how you began and marketed yourself back in 2017.
So definitely opened 2017 in September. Thankful to Brad Rivers. I started working with him about 2 months before I opened, and he really helped me develop a good market and business plan, really key in on the demographics. McAdenville's unlike most places where you can key in on certain demographics. For here, it's very broad. And so he really helped me to think about that when marketing. And so because of that, I have a friend who's retired from Bank of America. She helps me out here at the store. So I used her as guidance. And then also my daughter and a couple of people in between those age brackets to really help me to what would be the best fit for our store and how to go about not just merchandise, but marketing and customer service. And, you know, it all came down to just being authentic, just being who we are, you know, and it comes across when you're in your store. It's a very good vibe. I mean, you feel the authenticity. So describe to me your clientele, what kind of clientele you have.
It definitely ranges.
We do have men that shop in the store on a regular basis. We have 2 core groups that cater to our men. So I would say about 20% of our customers are men, whether they're shopping for their spouses, but the majority of them actually shop for themselves. Mm-hmm. So we have YETI and Duke Cannon, who I have a couple customers who come in every other week to fulfill their Duke Cannon needs.
And one thing that Mona also did really well when she first opened was research companies that are give back companies. So, and that kind of plays into the demographics as well of our shop. And so different companies, like she mentioned, Duke Cannon is a men's grooming and giftware line. They are a give back company for veterans of the United States, and they're made in the United States. All of the products are made in the United States as well. So just really doing our research before she went to the Atlanta gift market for the first time and understanding this company will give back to this organization. This company is made in, you know, America. And she realized we're in small town USA, and I want to play in on that. You know, people want to give back. People want to give their money local. People want a handmade gift rather than something that might be made elsewhere. So just really, she won't brag on herself too much, but just seeing the hard work that she poured into doing that research and that homework, for sure, that first year, it was a learning curve. And what did people resonate with? And then we just took it from there.
Staying true to your values.
Sorry.
And I know you mentioned your reps, Mona, that you have a good relationship with a lot of your reps.
Absolutely. You know, when I worked in retail before, it was always chain stores, and it was nothing to where I got to pick out the merchandise. There was always big buyers for the company to go and do that. And, you know, I didn't have a say. So when I did this, and, you know, after talking to Jennifer and how she did Willow Pond up in Roanoke, she was like, definitely trust your reps. Get the reps that, you know, the companies that you know you want, build the relationship with the rep, and they will, you know, guide you through what you're supposed to do. And so opening the store for the first time, you know, I didn't know about quantity. I didn't know, I knew the companies, I knew the core companies I wanted, but I didn't know the quantity. So I would meet a lot of the reps here at the store and kind of show them my vision, and we would talk through it, and I really trusted them. And I've probably only not moved forward with a couple of the reps from 2017. Most of the reps I had on my opening day, I still have to this day, and we have a great relationship.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm sure it largely contributes to your success, I know.
Yes. You know, and being in small gift shop like this, in boutique, we have a lot of people around us, you know, that carry a lot of the same brands. So Mud Pie, for example, I really trusted my rep to let me know not what my competitors were ordering or what other small businesses were ordering, but just merchandise that we could stand out unique from them. So that way we're not both having the same thing for our same customer base. So.
Right. Very good. Excellent. So I guess at some point, and I know you mentioned, I'll just put a plug in for your corporate clients. You did say you had some corporate clients as well, right? So that's good.
Yes. And I think how we kind of got there we had to figure out in the first year what companies to carry and what resonated with people. But then we also had to build our resume, because when you start, you know, from nothing, nobody knows your name, some companies aren't inclined to carry you just yet. So we'd go to market and we try and find YETI, and we try and find, you know, like the big guys, the big gift givers. And we were told no. And I think that was really hard at first, because we were like, what do you mean no? Like, we're a gift store and we want to carry the things that people want to see. And they were like, we got to see how you do first. And so it was really 2017. That was our upbringing, but really showing what we were worth. And then in 2018 and 19, bringing in companies like YETI and Smathers and Branson, and and getting a laser engraving machine. Like, we had to build up some clout for that for sure. And then once we did that, we kind of took off from there.
And that's so true with startups and big companies don't want to deal with startups. They think you're going to be gone tomorrow. So it is a struggle. You really do have to wait it out and prove yourself.
And that's been really fun to do, because we like proving, you know, ourselves. So that's been fun. And now we get to carry the big guys, which is an honor to do. So
yeah.
Jenna mentioned we got a custom engraving machine. The custom engraving machine we received last March. So we've just hit our year mark with that. And we've been able to do a lot with that. We can do handmade recipe boards. We can do, I had, for Mother's Day, someone wrote, "I love you" to their grandmother. And I took her handwriting and I put it on a frame. I can't say too much because I don't want that person to know, of course. But moving forward with that, we've started working with big businesses. So we've worked with Belmont Abbey, we've worked with Coca-Cola, I've worked with Caramont, Gaston County Police Department. There's been several companies that we've worked with where we can take their logo, Harris Teeter, and put it on there. Now, only the people that work for that company or own the rights to that logo have permission to use that logo. So not anyone can come in and get the Coca-Cola emblem put on the cup, or the Belmont cup, you know, logo. Those, even though I have the file, I don't just let any customer use that file for their
which is smart, very smart. And I guess it creates a lot of corporate gift opportunities.
And then, so here's one I did for her birthday. So she has a golden retriever and an Australian shepherd, and of course she is a dog mom. So everybody who comes in the store knows Boone and has gotten to know Nash over the last year. And so she was like just taken back that we could put her dogs on.
But it's the little things like that. I mean, especially when you are in Gaston County and there are different gift shops, and they're great gift shops and great boutiques. How do we
differentiate?
How do we differentiate? And that is definitely a big part of it. And building that relationship with the rep, like you mentioned previously, we were able to get this laser engraving machine, and now we can make handmade or, you know, handwritten gifts or custom gifts for people. And most of them are under an hour. And that's amazing. And with that relationship with the rep, we're the only gift store in Gaston County that will be able to do that. And,
oh, really? Oh, wow.
So it's been very fortunate that Mona does such a great job building those relationships. And now that wasn't the rep's rule, that was the company's rule for the machine. They want to make sure that not so many people have it, but we having that relationship. Which is
good. That protects you too. That's great. That's such an added value for you guys. I mean, it really is. So tell me how you made the decision. So you made the decision. I know you have Square point of sale to start, and then you made the decision to try doing an e-commerce online platform for online sales, basically. And you made that decision, it sounds like back in January, kind of before the COVID-19 was really out there and people were thinking about it. Is that correct? Maybe start me from that point, and then when you launched and where you are in the process.
Well, I tried to do it myself a little over 6 months ago, and I just was not successful. I didn't have the time to commit to it. I didn't have the patience. I was getting frustrated that we were not online yet, because I really, even from when I opened, my business model was that I wanted to be online within a year and a half. And that wasn't coming to fruition. And so I finally looked at Hannah in January, and I was like, I know, I mean, she's a teacher. She's a K-1 combo teacher. And so I was like, I know your plate is full, but is there any way on the weekends you could try to help me get this started? And so thankful with Philip, he would be my third mentor with getting all of Philip McGinnis. He really helped me with getting started to get the website up and going. And then Hannah kind of took it from there. And anytime she would struggle, Philip would give her guidance on what to do next. So
that's great. I know you use Weebly, right? So you use the integrated website online store inventory management that's built into the overall Square platform.
Yes.
Yes. And going back to those relationships, not only do we, pride ourselves in having those relationships with the reps, but also with our customers. And for example, Philip McGinnis, him and his family, I actually teach with his wife. So that was a relationship. Oh. And then we got to move forward as being a business mentor as well as we transitioned to online. And just working with different people in the community, as Mona has mentioned, that has just been really helpful. Specifically Philip, just because like she did say, it was a lot of trial by error. And I do have a bit of a perfectionist problem. So when something wasn't exactly right, I would be in a little bit of a panic, even though it probably wasn't anything of a big deal. But Philip made himself so accessible through Slack. We communicated. If I had a question, he would answer, he would call me, or he would send me a screen recording of, okay, Hannah, this is what this is. You have to click this button, or, you didn't put the pictures in, it's kind of confusing. It's not there, it's here. And just learning and definitely having to make those mistakes so that way it looks better at the end was helpful.
Yes, I think you have a beautiful website. It's very elegant. It is. So now that I've been in your store and seen the many, 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 many items you have, tell us what you're doing in terms of photographing what you have versus maybe pulling some stock photos for the whole online e-commerce platform.
So we have a sweet, sweet girl that works for us, and she takes amazing photographs. She does family photographs, and she's a beginning photographer, and she was sweet enough to say, I've got a camera, let's go take some pictures around McAdenville and clothing and things like that. So we would, take photographs with her, and then I would edit them using Lightroom. That way, on our social media, that our aesthetic kind of thing, it all kind of looked consistent. Mona gives me a hard time for that, but that way it kind of has the same kind of blend. And then, so using our worker, Tori, she did amazing photographs for us. And then also going with reps that we might not be able to take a great photograph. For example, today I posted a bath bomb on our Instagram, and having the bath bomb in store, I don't have the lighting. Tori doesn't have the lighting. We don't have the cross charm inside. So using those stock photographs for things that might be a little more difficult to take a picture of, we will do that. But the things that we can get a photograph from us in person, us wearing it or us using it, or if it's a YETI that's been engraved or things like that, how to make it personal, because Mona does such a great job creating that relationship when people come in the store. And whenever she kind of tossed the responsibility of online to me, the biggest thing I questioned was, how am I going to create that atmosphere that you create in the store through Google, through Google
yes.
Plus, through Weebly, or whatever. How are people going to know who we are and our beliefs based off of a website? And so I'll just try and throw in different things on our website about Mona, about our family, about our beliefs, and then also just using the descriptions that Philip kind of taught me to, writing about the product, how is it used, what is it made of, why do we love it, and kind of making it, like Mona said, authentic, and not just here's a stock photo, here's why you should buy it. Here's something that we might have taken, but here's also a stock photo, here's why we love it, this is why it gives back, and this is why it would be a great purchase for you. Kind of making it like Mona does in store, but through a website platform. Right.
Which it's hard to convey, the culture of your store, right? But I think you've done a great job. So you launched I believe you said you actually like went live on the website and online purchasing the day Gaston County announced stay at home. Is that correct?
Yeah. And it was not meant, I mean, it was not planned to be that way. I mean, obviously we knew of the coronavirus, but as Mona said, this was something that we were in the works, you know, January 1st. Like, we wanted our New Year's goal. We need to be online by summer, because being in McAdenville, we're Christmastown, USA.
No kidding.
From Georgia, from France, from Connecticut, from New York, and they'd say, "We love your small town country store." You know, like we want it back home. And we were so hard on ourselves because we were like, we don't have a way to do that. And we would do Instagram messaging or and people would see something we post and say, you know, I want that, or I want a cut board, whatever. I want it to be engraved with this recipe on it. And that was a lot of the customer having to reach out, but now we're able, this is who we are. So that was really helpful. But yeah, it was totally, like we say, God's timing of stay at home order was in place, but you know, so is our website. And it was not because of coronavirus. It was more, we wanted more of our name out there, and we wanted more people to see us due to the requests of our customers. And then just God's timing kind of helps, for sure. Yeah.
You and Zoom. Zoom was well positioned, like Mona's boutique was well positioned.
We would be completely without sales right now. And thankful for online, we have had 53 online sales, and we've had about 15 DM or Insta messaging orders.
And that's from March 20th.
Since March 20th.
Yeah, so that's great. That's really awesome. So how are you, just for the benefit of people watching this, how are you shipping or delivering? And are these online acquisitions mostly your loyal customer base right now? Are you getting just random people buying?
We've actually had a few random people. It is
South Carolina. We just shipped a custom YETI to a resident of South Carolina, which was really cool.
Who had never shopped in the store before. But yeah, I would say 90% of the people that have purchased online are our loyal customers, but we have had that small percentage that we had no idea who they were. And so we're getting to know them now. So.
Which is great. So they're probably finding you through Facebook and Instagram, or do you know any other way they're finding you?
We do know word of mouth.
Okay.
We've had a couple customers, thankfully, talk about us on their stories on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. And a couple of their friends from other places have reached out to us. So. Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I know now that you are where you are so well positioned for Christmastown and that whole time period. I would just think your sales are going to explode. And I know you said, you know, almost half your business comes from that time period, the holiday season. So maybe tell me what you're thinking. And am I right in terms of, like, I think the explosion in your business that could happen?
Yes, definitely with being online. So the thing about, yes, about 41% of our sales for our year do come between middle of Thanksgiving or middle of November to the end of December. But with that, I wish we got to keep all of that, but we don't. We quadruple our staff during that month. So we typically, from 4:30 on, have at least 6 people working. Some nights we have 7. So on a typical day for us, there's usually only one of us working, maybe an hour gap where 2 of us are working. But so the month of December, I get to hire a lot of college students, a lot of high school students, a couple of retired moms, or business people that really want to help out at the store. And so we do a lot in December, but it all goes back really to payroll. And so having online would be really great to help increase those revenues more.
Absolutely. Scaling.
We're in the shop during the lights. You know, sometimes they're just looking, or sometimes they're trying to get warm or things like that. But people always say, are you on social media? Or how can I shop online? And, you know, that's been something we've said now for 3 Christmases is we're going to be online. And now we can say that. And, you know, that's not putting ourselves down by any means, but I think there's just a pride in that we've said it and now it can happen. And
that's right.
Sometimes, you know, if you're in the lights, you have your kids, you have your hot chocolate, you have your cold, you have your jacket, like, you might not want to sit down and shop, or you might not want to get your, you know, laser engraved item done, your recipe, your mom's recipe in her handwriting done. But if you could have that option online and you hear about us and then you know that you're supporting a family business that you got to visit in a small town full of Christmas lights, I mean, there's some magic that goes into that order for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's well said.
Custom engraving machine there's a lot of engagements that happen throughout the month of December in Christmastown. And so this past year was the first year, and we probably did 12 custom items for people that were engaged.
Picture frames or...
Yeah, just all kinds of...
Yeah,
for people that had just gotten engaged during the month of December. So it was nice to be able to give them something that was personalized for them on that day, since that was such a special day in their life. So. That's
neat. That's really neat. So that I don't forget, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your presence at the Catawba Antique Mall. I know you're not there right now, and what you plan to do moving forward. I guess none of us know what's going to happen, but what are your thoughts with that presence there?
I definitely love having a booth there. I started out having just a very small booth there, and it grew to 3, so now I have 3 booths there.
We do. It's full on.
From September to December, I have an extra booth there that's just designated to Christmas. Yes, Emery and CJ at Catawba River Antique Mall are so awesome to work with, and yeah, it's really great, and that actually provides people that don't even venture out anywhere other than Belmont. There's a lot of older people that like to walk there, not just older people, but they go there to walk. And so it's funny, I'll get a phone call and say, you don't have this at Catawba River, but I've seen it, you posted on social media, can you put it there? And I'm like, I'm working on it. Like, yes.
Sure. So are the items that are there on your on the website now?
Most of them are not online from Catawba River because, so the good thing about Square and Weebly working together online is it's a seamless inventory. So what we have in store and what is online is the same. And so if somebody buys it online, it notifies us immediately and we can pull it off the shelf, so that way the inventory stays up to date. So having that at Catawba River, it's not conducive because they use a totally different system. But we do have similar items here. I just don't put those in our inventory here. So.
Okay. Okay.
For it to get to a point, if someone wanted a specific garden flag or garden mat or things like that are more at the mill, even though we do have those items here, if it were online and then somebody at the mill were to grab it or, you know, to purchase it because they do use a different inventory system than us, it might be delayed and then someone might pay for it online and then we not have it in our ownership at the mill, even though we thought we did. So like Mona said, the benefit of Square and Weebly, it kind of being seamless, as soon as someone checks out online, it's removed from our inventory. So we would hate for, you know, to run into an incident at the mill if something was sold before we got to take it out of our inventory. But I'm in the process now of every day I try and put something new online and got to put garden flags. I've kind of pushed that off because we have so many and I've been a little...
Just a lot of work.
A lot of work. But that is my mission this week, and making sure that all of those are online. That way, because one of our big items that we do sell is garden flags. But I've tried to prioritize our website based off of our most popular items besides garden flags. So wanted to make sure we had clothing on there, want to make sure we have YETI on there, made sure we have the custom engraving. You know, if somebody wanted their YETI engraved, they have that option of selecting that online and then us being in contact with them. So just kind of getting those big pieces online that we know that people are going to want to buy, and then working forward to putting it all online. Because like I said before, we don't do anything small. So if we were going online, everything was going to be online.
So I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Mona?
I was going to say Philip can contest that, or attest to the fact that when he first asked us what we wanted online, we may have listed like 5 different brands, categories, and that's totally exploded.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's been really nice because I'm not a website developer. Like Mona said, I'm a kindergarten first grade teacher. So I don't know much about it, but I can learn. And Philip's done a really great job of saying, you know, instead of having all of your categories on the side, you know, maybe make it a little bit more user friendly and have subcategories and, you know, have clothing and then have a category for graphic tees. And I don't know how to do that, but he did a great job showing me. And if you show me how to do it, I can do it. So I was very appreciative for that. And we get comments now all the time. Your website is so user friendly. I wanted a YETI and I was able to find it. I wanted a graphic t-shirt and I knew exactly where to go. And that's what I really wanted my mission to be, because I'm an online shopper. And if it's hard to find, I will
forget it.
Yeah, I'm done. So I wanted it to be easy, and I wanted the customers to know about us quickly. So
that's awesome. And then how about on the mobile devices? Does it work well?
It does. So it's the same. You could just go to your Safari or whatever kind of browser you have, or it's even on our Instagram bio. You can just click our monasonmain.com and it'll bring you there, and it's an even more concise little mobile browser version with all the same stuff on there. So,
excellent.
Yeah. So trying to make it as easy as possible, because I know the last thing people want to do is search and try and find what they're wanting.
So good for you. That's awesome. That will definitely keep people coming back.
Thank you.
And then you ship anywhere in the world, correct?
I just recently shipped something to England.
To England, yeah. She did. And we'll do a local delivery. So we said 5 miles, but anywhere 5 to 10 miles basically is our radius. But anywhere local, we'll deliver to, like a front porch. We kind of make it our family trip to get out of the house. We all hop in the car and go to the front porch, and then we'll just text or call.
Only one of us goes to the front porch.
Only one of us goes, but the rest of us just ride together, and we'll make it our family outing since we can't, do anything right now. But we'll drop it off on the front porch, one of us, and Mona will text or call, or, your item is on the front porch, or knock, just something.
So that way it is still contact-free.
It's contact-free for sure. And then if people want to do a curbside pickup, we're doing that as well. And they can schedule that online when they check out. So
come to your store.
Curbside pickup and then delivery, and all non-contact.
Very good. So everybody watching this should keep them in mind for Mother's Day.
Oh, for sure. And we'll even write a card. I'm also going to be in the process of putting cards up online soon. And we have those beautiful love pop cards. So you open it up and like a, graphics pop.
I'm gonna grab one.
Pop up. I'll grab one like this, and then it kind of like pops.
Oh, how pretty.
So I'm going to put those online. And we can even write like a note for somebody, and we can drop it off on somebody's front porch and do something like that for them.
We just added balloons. We had a couple people had balloons 2 weeks ago, and we were able to add balloons to the package and deliver it to the birthday person. So
that's nice.
And the great thing about these is that it has a little hidden place to write a message. So.
But yeah, and then what I was saying about Mona and just those relationships that she's building, we're working with a woman who makes handmade items, kind of like cards and different things like that. We're working with her, and she's going to have something that we're going to put with every order that we deliver or we ship or things like that, that has a handwritten note from me or from Mona, just, saying thank you for supporting our family, because that's what people are doing right now in this time.
Yeah, that's sweet.
You mentioned to me about getting something to write a note for every online order. We definitely both thought of Prince Design, because she is local, she is a friend of ours, and she's fabulous. So.
Okay, awesome. That's such a nice personal touch, and it represents what y'all are all about, and you're carrying it onward through the online world.
Thank you. Yeah.
Which is great. So given everything you've gone through so far, would there be any big pieces, like definite pieces of advice anybody who's watching this to think through as they're trying to take a retail business to an online e-commerce play?
My biggest piece of advice, which I probably should take myself, just start small and think about what's the things that you want online and then move forward from there. But just little, in everything in this world, you're going to have glitches and you're going to have your frustrations and you're going to have the things that you typed and you worked hard on. And then whenever you go, it's not showing up for whatever reason. So just kind of doing one category at a time, kind of like doing all of your, if you carry shirts, doing all of your shirts and then putting it out there, shirts are now online, and then doing all of your cards are now online. And that's been my thing, because we do carry a lot of different things. We carry clothes, and we carry jewelry, and we carry cards, and we carry garden flags, and we carry there's items. So many items that it would be very easy for me to be overwhelmed. But I just try and think about this category or this item and then move it on, promote that it's out there. That's something that I've been doing recently is I'll put something online, I'll go on our story and I'll show, this is now online. And that way people know it's online. Because if it's online but nobody knows about it, that doesn't do any good. But saying, this is now online, thank you for supporting local, and then doing another category. But I've definitely had to set my time limits and my time parameters, because I could spend all day on that thing. It's like a game for me, give me something to do. But I have to at some point just put it down and realize that it's a website. And
and I'm fortunate she's on spring break this week, so she will be spending most of her days helping me with online stuff. So since she's not teaching. So
I would suspect you'd recommend most people to do this.
Oh,
I would. I think
no matter what.
I think if you do it right, if you make it personal, if you keep your values that you have in your store and you share it out there, there's no harm in doing it. If it could only bring you good. But just being patient. Right. Yeah. Unfortunately,
technology requires patience. Yeah, it really does. It can be highly frustrating.
Yeah,
but beneficial too. Yes. Yeah. So do y'all have any parting words? And then do you want to put a plug in for your prayer room? I thought that was kind of interesting that most retail stores don't have.
I think in this time, and maybe this is just the 23-year-old in me, but it's very easy, I think, for me to compare maybe what other people or businesses would be doing, not only in Gaston County, but, even in surrounding counties. And I think just my parting words would be, just figure out who you are and make you good at that. And Mona has done such a good job just figuring out who we are and running with that. Like she mentioned, her and my dad signed for their first house in this building that we're in right now. And they got married at the church up the street. And my dad grew up. And I have so many memories of my grandma, who passed away a couple of years ago, walking down the streets of McAdenville. And we try and play on that, because we are a family, and we are a family with Christian beliefs. And behind us, we have the Proverbs 31 scripture, because that is what that's who Mona is. And we're just people of faith, and we want to promote our business in that way. So we had to figure out who we were in that first year and two, and now we've just kind of rolled with it, and it's made us different and it's made us unique, whether we're sharing scripture on our Instagram or we're asking people how we can pray for them, whether it's in store with our prayer room that we have, like you mentioned, or we're on Instagram doing posts on our social media and saying, how can we pray for you during this time? Because we know it's hard on everybody, and that's who she is, and that's who our family is. And
that's awesome. That's really wonderful. Very good spirits you both are. Yes. And do you have anything to say, Mona?
I think she
to end with.
Yeah. Took it all. So I am so fortunate to have her. I feel very blessed to have her as not just my daughter, but as an integral part of this store. Like, I could not do this store without her. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, y'all are a very good mother-daughter team.
We really are.
You are, and you obviously get along well, which I can't say for many, so good for you. Yeah. That's awesome.
We balance each other out. She's more of the free spirit. We'll figure it out. And I love that about her. She's, people can just do whatever. And
she sounds like me.
She's so patient. And me, I'm the high-strung.
Like procedure.
We balance each other out very well. Really I'm lucky to have her.
Same.
Oh, that's sweet. You're yin and yang.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing and very openly sharing with us today. And I hope it benefits anyone who sees this presentation. And good luck. And really, truly, best of luck with your business.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
My pleasure. Okay.
Bye.